Hi everyone, you may have seen a previous video where I showed you how to do this mitering technique. So I thought I'd show you again, but with a little bit more of an interesting card. So for this, it's a diorama card. So it's a bit 3D where you can build a scene inside. And I've made it so that it really does go flat. So you may have seen diorama cards where everything goes in, but this one, you just pull it out, it all goes flat, apart from your little decoupage bits there then. So it goes into a 5x7 envelope. And for this, I've used one of the Whatnots by Nitwits, which is as a collection of images which are like card fronts, ready-made card fronts. So I'm using the square one today. I think I used the rectangle one last time. Again, from the Party Animal kit. So great little fun birthday images with these cute characters from Nitwits. So grab your cardstock. You will need a paper trimmer where you can start at a different point for this one. So grab your trimmer, grab your scoreboard and your papers and images, and let's get going. So to start with, I've got my piece of cardstock and I want to make a 5x7 card today. So I'm going to cut two pieces of cardstock now, 5x7. So there's the 7. And now I'll just cut both my 5s. There we are. So I don't need those for today. So I've got two pieces, 5x7. And now I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And I'm going to take the first one and put it in a landscape orientation like that. So the long edge across the top. And score at 3 1/4 and 1 inch. And turn it around, 3 1/4 and 1 inch. And I'm going to do exactly the same on the other one. 3/4 and 1 inch. Turn it around, 3/4 and 1 inch. So because I've got a 5x7 and I've come in 1 inch from each side, what I've got now is my central part of my diorama, a 5x5 square. So that's now where you're going to use your square toppers, and you can cut them down to fit here. Or, like I've done, I've actually just gone and printed one of the Party Animals images from the Whatnot kits. Now the Whatnots are pre-made layered toppers and card fronts. So I didn't have to do anything to this. I just resized it to 4 3/4 then. So it's just smaller than my back of my diorama. I'm just going to ink the sides. So I'm just taking my black soot around the edge, although you're not actually going to see much of it in this one, but I think it's just a habit of tidying things up. So if I stick that now onto the back, we're not actually going to see anything because the front hasn't been done. So what we're going to do is fold both of those 1 inch ones back, just so they're a bit clearer for me to see. I'm going to cut an aperture from this piece. Now I've cut my paper strips already to 1/2 inch. So that means if I've got 1/2 inch strips I'm going to use, my aperture edge needs to be 3/4 inch. So that folded line I've done now, I'm actually going to take to 3/4 inch. Now I won't see it here because it's there, but on this board, each of these squares is 3/4 inch. So I'm just going to line it up with the third square across, which is 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to take my blade and I'm keeping it upright until I get to 3/4 of an inch. Now this little, let's bring it in, arrowhead here is, here's my half an inch, there's my 1 inch, so 3/4 of an inch is there, and my arrow is pointed to it. So now you're going to hear me press it down, and I'm going to now cut down to 4¼ inches. So that is now 3/4 of an inch from the top uncut and 3¼ inches from the bottom left uncut. As you can see there, the cut line starts there and ends there. Let me turn it around and I'm going to do exactly the same. Lining up that folded score line, that 1 inch from the edge on the 3/8, and drop it in at 3/4 of an inch, press it down and go down to 4¼ There we are. And now we're going to take the edge of our cardstock to the 3/4 of an inch, and it's 1 3/4, but what you can do is just line up this arrowhead now with your cut and stop at the cut line here. So the arrow hits that cut line, but it's 5¼ inches. So again, turn it around, 3/4 of an inch in, start at 1 3/4 and finish at 5¼ And if your corners haven't met, just use your craft knife or something. Don't go trying putting it back into the track and stuff. Just take your blade and cut it. And now we've got the aperture for our diorama, like that. But you're not going to be able to put that into your card, into your envelope. So what we're going to do is just fold that second one, that 3/4 of an inch one, backwards on itself. So what we've got is like a little Z fold there, and over here. So now we've got 2 bits sticking out like that, 1, 2. And let's take the other one, and this time the 1 inch one we're going to come up and then fold backwards. So this is now going to be the reverse of the front one, and do the same the other side. So now what we've got is 1 there and 1 there, and when you put them together, what you're going to get is that double the depth of whatever gap was between your 2 score lines. So that's what gives you that extra 3D-ness. So let's decorate the back. So just drop your 4 3/4 inch topper inside your card base. And because this was just one image from Nitwits, what I did was I just copy and pasted it so the same size. And what you can do then is just 3D foam and decoupage the bits you want. So for this one now, what I've done is I did copy and pasted it 3 times, but I cropped down anything I didn't need so I didn't waste my ink. So I've got a few layers of decoupage, already put some foam tape on the back of some bits, and I've also got a happy birthday which I can put on the front as well. So let's just grab some foam tape and finish raising him up. So I just got some thick ones and I just cut it down then to the areas I need. There we go. So let's stick this one down first. Now what's great about this is when you are making your own decoupage piece, if you haven't cut out perfectly, because the image already had colour all around it, like this balloon here had that pale blue and the green and orange. If you look at my balloon, there's just a little bit of orange still showing. But as soon as I put it there, you're not going to see it as much because it's got the background. It's actually blending in. So it's quite forgiving when you're trying to make your own decoupage. So there's those bits. So I'll try to keep the tiger sort of in the background to bring the elephant and zebra forward, and then the monkey even further forward. So let's just place the monkey and his present on top. So there we have our little decoupage inside our diorama. And I'm going to be using my mitering technique again here. So what I've done is I've cut 4 strips of my decorative paper, which came in the kit, so it all ties in. And I've cut them to 1/2 inch wide. And I'm going to start off by highlighting the edges with my black soot. So this is going to make our mitering really stand out. Okay. So my frame that I cut was 3/4 inch wide, wasn't it? So I went down 1/4 inch to do my strip, so 1/2 inch. The height is 5 inches, so I've cut my strips to 4 3/4 inches. So now that this one's ready, it doesn't matter if you do it across the top or down the sides, as long as you do both opposites. So I'm going to do this edge, and as I said, just do the opposite one. So if you've done the top, put this on the bottom. If you've done the left hand side, you just put this on the right hand side. Go. Press it down. So now these again are 4 3/4 wide, and I'm just going to take my pencil and I've placed it across the top. Now if you look carefully, I've actually got a bit of overlap on this left hand side. Now you want it longer rather than shorter, so that's fine. So I'm going to line up my left hand corner nicely and mark with my pencil where the paper underneath lines up. And over this side, on the right hand side, I need to go here to line up with the top and here to straighten it out on the bottom. So now when I take my scissors, I'm just going to go from that pencil line to that one, and now it'll be the correct width. And the other side, from the corner of the paper to my pencil mark. And now get a nice dark shadowing on those diagonals. And then just brush the other ones. Now the reason I went nice and sharp, dark with those diagonals is that's what's going to highlight your mitering and give you that sort of framed look. So now, because we used our pencil marks rather than measuring, it's going to line up perfectly to finish the frame. And we're just going to repeat that now on the bottom. So this time I'm going to line it up bottom left. And again, it's a little bit longer, so that's fine. I'm going to take it up slightly just so I can see where my underneath papers are. So I want my mite to go from this corner to here. and from this point to that point. So let's take my scissors and just cut from your pencil to pencil and pencil to corner. I think I might need a little bit more ink on my tool. That's better. And just lightly down at the other edges. And line it up. And then just press it down. So you can see now our diorama has a nice mitered frame to it. So now we're just going to decorate the sides. So I've taken, oh, these bits a bit too big. So I think it needs to be, so we measured it at 3/4. It needs to be 1/2 inch. So now what I'm going to do, because I can't get my trimmer underneath to cut 1/2 inch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it down with some low tack tape and cut it off. And now take the tape off, and I'm going to take some off the other side as well. Like that. So that just saves you trying to get your fingers in underneath your paper. So that's a nice, quick, easy tip on how to cut smaller pieces from a piece that's already quite small. So on this one, I've cut with the presents off to the right. So this time I want them off to the left. So let's take a bit off this side. And take the tape off. An inch there. Do you know what? I think I did this one wrong. It's 1/2 inch. I went, there we are. There we are. So that's all this was one of the borders from the kit, which was a line of presents, a vertical presents. So I just back that onto my backing paper, and we've just gone from rain and clouds to bright sunshine. So I'm sorry, I've got the shadow now. Yeah, so I did cut these to the wrong measurement. So I did design to the wrong measurement, but as you can see, I've left my mistakes in, and you can see how I could rectify it. And it also gave me a chance to give you the tip about how to cut a thin strip even thinner. So let's now place this down here. And this one down the right hand side. And then it's just a case of then gluing or taping. You can use your double-sided tape here. So let's grab a double-sided tape gun and place some glue down each of these 3/4 inch pieces. Maybe get some glue to get to the corners. And let's make sure our presents are the right way up. Line up the left. Line up the right. Press down. So now our card will stand up as a 3D diorama, but if you pull the side, we'll go flat into your envelope. You can add a little happy birthday sentiment to the bottom as well. Let's go there again from the same kit. And there we go, our party animal diorama card, which can squeeze into a 5x7 envelope like that, or go flat into the envelope and then be squeezed to stand upright. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, it's quite an easy card to make. Now it's up to you then if you wanted to add some thin pieces just to finish off there and there. To me, I only see when it's open, so when it's closed like that, it's not as noticeable, so I haven't. But of course, that's up to you. So a great way to use your whatnots from Nitwits, which are the ready-made toppers. A great way to get some decoupage. Some nice little tips on the mitering corners. So although a simple looking fun card, quite a few little nifty tips. So as always, if you have a go, no matter what kit or papers you use, you can use anything you want. I'd love to see what you make. So please hop onto Facebook and look up Paper Crafting with Paul and join the group. Or if you just want a direct link, I'll put it in the description below. If you can't find the description, it could be your device. So you can either click on show more if you're on a PC, or if you're on an iPad or an iPhone or any phone or tablet, you might see a little arrow pointing down, like a little V shape to show more. If you click on that, it'll open up the description for you. And please, if you enjoyed it, give me those thumbs up and click that subscribe button. And I can't wait to see how yours turn out. So see you all soon and happy crafting.